If the 49ers made to the playoffs, well, let me change that. I know that the 49ers, they are going to make to the playoffs. If the 49ers, they win the Super Bowl, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be one of the most important pieces and key element for the 49ers to win the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that is going to be only or solely the main reason why the 49ers, they are going to win the Super Bowl, but it's going to be one of the most important components, especially if Jimmy Garoppolo continue playing as he played these past 3 games. If Jimmy Garoppolo continues performing as the past 3 games, this 49er team will be arguably better than 2019 and way much better than 2021. There is no doubt about it. Especially if you compare the 49ers to the past year. I mean, their main weapons were George Kittle and um, Debo Samuel. And in the running game, it was Elijah Mitchell. This year, you have Brandon Ayuk, you have Christian McCaffrey, Juwan Jennings playing way much better. Last year, he closed the year playing lights out, amazing. But this year, since the beginning, he's been playing absolutely wonderful. And he's been our third down specialist. This past game, we didn't saw a lot of Juwan Jennings, and mainly the reason is because we didn't have a lot of opportunities in third downs. And with the third downs they came, there were passes to George Kittle or Brandon Ayuk. One of those being a touchdown. So probably we didn't need that third down specialist in this past game, but I'm pretty sure that down the stretch, when we play better teams, we are going to need all the help from Juwan Jennings. There is no doubt in my mind. But returning to my point, if Jimmy Garoppolo continue playing as he's been playing these past games, which is a way much better version of what we saw from last year, that might be one of the main reasons why the 49ers, they go all the way. And they go to the Super Bowl and they perform better in the Super Bowl. This might be a better version than 2019 Jimmy Garoppolo. There is some aspects in the game of Jimmy Garoppolo that we haven't seen since he came to the 49ers. Like we already discussed that part, but climbing the pocket, making plays with the legs, going through all his progressions. And not only going through all his progressions, but then coming back in the progressions. They go 1, 2, 3, and if there is not open, he goes back to 1. If he is open, he throws the ball. A lot of improvement we've seen from Jimmy Garoppolo. But not only Jimmy Garoppolo has improved, other players in the offense, they have improved also. We haven't seen Debo Samuel as the 2021 Debo Samuel, but we've seen a way much better version of Brandon Ayuk. We've seen, even if it's a couple of games, probably even better version of Elijah Mitchell. And there's no doubt that before we didn't have that spark or that dynamic player in the backfield, not being Debo, like Christian McCaffrey. So it's not only talking about the improvement of Jimmy Garoppolo, but also the talent around him. I do consider that is better. Is that makes Jimmy Garoppolo better? Absolutely. There is no doubt, there is no question about it. But some quarterbacks, even if you have all the talent in the world around them, they never evolved, they never got better. So kudos to Jimmy Garoppolo that not only due to the fact that he has more talent in the offense, but also in his game, he has progressed and he's a better player. So kudos to him. And if the 49ers they win the Super Bowl, I do consider that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to play a huge role in that win. Now the speculations start when or the question arises about the 49ers signing Jimmy Garoppolo to another contract. And the answer might be no. I most certainly it's time for the 49ers to move on. It's time for the 49ers to go to Trey Lance. This might be one clear example of what happened with the Philadelphia Eagles. Carson Wentz, it was the starter for most of the season. He was playing into an MVP caliber. He got injured. Comes Nick Foles, goes to the Super Bowl. He wins the Super Bowl. Then Nick Foles gets a huge contract, and we all know what happened after that. Just hoping that Trey Lance is not going to become the next Carson Wentz. But I mean, we are not very sure that Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to become the next Nick Foles. I won't risk it, and I will go with Trey Lance next year, hoping that he can translate all the potential that we've seen into the field and be way much better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, there is another point. If the 49ers can make it to the playoffs and to the Super Bowl with a not so good Jimmy Garoppolo, well, even if we don't expect much more from even if we expect way much more from Trey Lance, even if he doesn't gives that edge, with a so-so performance from Trey Lance, we know that we have the talent to go to the playoffs and to go to the Super Bowl. I'm not worried. I'm not extremely worried about that, but I think that it's time to move on. Hoping that this year, like we are talking about, Jimmy Garoppolo will be one of the most important and key elements to win the Super Bowl this year. The offense, the evolution of the offense of these 49ers, this new identity that is more balanced between passing and rushing, this offense looks better than we've seen in 2021 and 2019. The weapons, they look better. The quarterback looks better. The running back looks better. The offensive line looks better. Let's not talk about the defense. The defense is a completely different situation, which where the defense, by the way, not that they're being bad, absolutely contrary, they've been playing to the highest level all season. So if the 49ers they make it to the Super Bowl, they go and win the Super Bowl, Jimmy Garoppolo, Jimmy G, is going to be a major factor in that victory. It will be, like I said, I have no doubt that the 49ers they are going to make it to the playoffs, but also he will be one of the key elements to make it to the playoffs. Remember what happened in previous years. Jimmy G in the playoffs, throwing interceptions, Kyle Shanahan shut him down absolutely, completely against Green Bay, against the Minnesota Vikings, and stick only to the running game. This might not be the solution for these 49ers. We have so many weapons in the wide receivers, tight ends, catching the ball. You cannot be limited only to rushing the ball. Let me know what you think if Jimmy Garoppolo it is the missing link to this offense. Or sorry, to the Super Bowl. Comment down below. Like always, see you in the next one.